We are built with strength. We are built to last. Continue in faith. Don't stop believing.
Spirit-filled messages, prophetic words. Join us on Sundays and Thursdays as we receive the word of the Lord from God's servant, Pastor David Fadeyi.
God just wants to add the first place in your life.
With one mandate to fulfill: our service to the Lord. Victory Chapel, the church on campus.
I want to appreciate you for coming to church this morning. A friend of mine used to say, "Why do I thank people for coming to church since they are here to be blessed?" But all the same, thank you for coming. In spite of the cost of transportation, you still made time to be here. You made a sacrifice. That is test to the fact that you know that as you come, you will receive of the Lord. And I pray that no one here will leave this place empty-handed in the name of Jesus. So today is going to be a continuation of what we started last week, which is finding life partner in the midst of a confused world. That was the foundation we laid last week. And we took our text from Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 19 in the Good News Translation and NLT. We're going to go back there and I move into what God wants us to hear today. Start from verse 18. There are four things that are too mysterious for me to understand. Four things. So number one, an eagle flying in the sky, a snake moving on a rock, and a ship finding its way over the sea. Then the next one, which is where we are, is a man and a woman falling in love, which means in the entire scheme of finding a life partner, there is something mysterious, or let me put it this way, supernatural about it. By the time you finally settle down in marriage and you look back at how you met the person, how everything worked out, you will be able to really say there is a supernatural and making things work behind the scene. We looked at three relationships and marriages as the foundation for that discussion, which was that of Adam and Eve, which we found in the book of Genesis chapter 2 from verse 18 to 23. We looked at Ruth and Boaz in the book of Ruth chapter 1 verse 22 and continuously like that. Then we look at the relationship between Eliezer, Isaac, and Rebekah, because Eliezer was the one who went to pick a wife for Isaac. And for those who came on Thursday, we went a little further to be more specific in the first aspect of that lesson, which is that for you to find a life partner, there are various positionings you must take for you to connect to the right person. We talked first about your spiritual positioning, which is very important. We'll also talk about positioning in the right association, positioning in pursuit of destiny, positioning in service, positioning in a place of rest in God, and positioning by taking responsibility of the kind of life that you desire. You're going to become a wife. You can't still be acting like a girl. And that's, let me just quickly say a little bit about that. Some people, you are in a relationship with somebody and you are giving all the girlfriend vibes. And the girlfriend vibes is just about, let me help him spend his money. Now, people, when you come into that kind of space, nobody will see you as somebody they need for a long-term relationship. Nobody will bring you into their life for you to come and squander their life. So you are also a guy and you're planning to get married, and all the vibes you're giving is out of a boyfriend vibe, just to sleep around, just about flexing and all the rest of that. You are not thinking about the future. You are not discussing. You are not having conversation about your plans for life. How are you going to grow? And the person is still seeing you as a boy. So if you want to secure a life partner, as a guy, you must already begin to take up responsibility as a man, as a father, as a leader, and as a priest. You won't become all of that. You have to be that for you to be seen in that light. Therefore shall a man be joined to his woman, and they will be one flesh. So it's not, therefore shall a boy will now become a man. Therefore shall a man first. So you have to take up that frame. So on Thursday, we broke it down to look at the issue of spiritual positioning. And I made our people who came to church to write down the things that they wanted to see or they want to have in their life partner. And it is not frivolous things that they're supposed to write. They are things that are promised in the scriptures. So a woman who fears the Lord, it is promised in the scripture. A woman with whom I will build a godly family. It is promised in the scripture. A woman with whom I will raise great and godly children. So everything that you are going to paint as a picture of your desired future partner must be based on what God promised, not based on your greed and covetousness. That's why your focus will not just be on the figures, figures for ladies and bank account figures for guys. That's not what you're going to be looking at. You're going to look beyond all of that. So today, somebody said today, I'll be speaking on 7-step authentication to verify if he or she is the one. 7-step authentication to verify if he or she is the one. I will have just said 7-step verification, but I like to just use that word authentication. And the first one is what you probably expect, but I will share it with you in a different light. The first one is what I call the spirit authentication. The spirit authentication or the spirit check. And what am I saying? Job chapter 32 and verse 8. Job chapter 32 and verse 8. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. For spiritual authentication, what God is telling us is that you must be able to confirm by your spirit that this is the right person. So you are going to look beyond the natural. You are going to look beyond what your eyes can see to listen to the voice of your spirit in discerning, is this the right person or not? And why do I say spirit check? Your spirit is smarter than your sense. Your spirit would probably lead you better than your common sense. And let me submit to you that in the original design of God, mankind was not supposed to be led by intellect. The original design of God, man was supposed to be guided by his spirit. That was why man was already functioning at a very high frequency until the devil introduced the idea of knowledge of good and bad. So many people are making decisions based on head knowledge, data, what my eyes can see, what I know on the outside. And this is how I used to picture it. I was supposed to do some drama today, but I didn't get it all figured out on how to put it together. But imagine that there are 5 plates of food covered, and they are the same color of container. Very beautiful. It's a 5-star setting, and there are 5 of them. And the rule is that any food that you choose out of the 5 is the food that you are going to eat all the days of your life. But the content of each of them is not the same. And you do not have the opportunity to open and see. Now, this is where I'm going. Your favorite food is rice. The food you can't deal with at all is beans. The food that, okay, it's okay, I'm not doing against it, it's not so bad like that, I can still manage it, is yam. Now, in those plates, there is one that there is nothing inside. There is one with rice. There is one with beans. And there is one with yam. And there is another one with the food you have not even heard of before. So how will you not pick beans? Because beans is what you can't deal with at all. So your option is either you pick rice or you pick yam. When you pick yam, it's not the best of the best, but what is still okay. So many people's marriages are like that. The guy is not too bad. It's okay. Not a bad guy. It's just good, and you are having a good life. But you are not having what I call a you are not highly satisfied, but you are okay. You are not dissatisfied. But somewhere you know that there could be better. Oh. Well, yam is not bad. But how will you pick rice? The only way you can pick rice, if you have an insider information of what is in front. Either the person that put it there knows. You must have an insider information. That insider information can only be gotten by the Spirit for human being, another human being. You cannot. Paul was saying it. He said, "Know no man after the flesh." The nice guy, the nice all of this, may have a lot of spiritual battle that you are going to go and embrace. And your spirituality is not qualified to handle it. So you see many people come into a marriage. Every marriage will have its own chaos. And they cannot just bear the weight of what they are facing. And you see some people, they get into a marriage and the whole family of the man is a very chaotic family and everything. And the woman said, "Na me dey here to solve this problem." As you people have married me, you people have seen light. Whereas you enter another family and from the reception, you have started seeing shaggy. And you're like, "Hey, where did I find myself here?" Why? Because you couldn't check. And that is why, as a young person, if there is anything that will help you in life, it is developing a strong spirit, which will help you to be discerning in life. So when the person comes around you, everything is okay externally. Everything is fine. But your spirit can't just place it, but you are not in tune with the person. It is the first check that you must carry out before you give yourself emotionally in a relationship. But many people don't do that. They jump in emotionally first. And when you jump in emotionally, it will be very difficult for you to hear your spirit. Because even God has to tell us to renew our mind. Because our mind can become very powerful. Our imagination, our appetite, our emotions can be so strong that we are not hearing our spirit. When I was in the university, I was a young lady that I liked so much, was in my department. And I had in mind that, okay, this girl should be a good girl. But I was still very young. I did not have all the money. I did not have money. I did not have anything. So I know I couldn't start a relationship. But we're just classmates. We go to class together, just good friends. So I was anticipating that once we graduate in 500 level, I will ask her out and we'll take it up from there. But one of the days, her birthday was coming, and long and short, I found out that she was in a serious relationship with some other guy who had already graduated from school. So that's a more serious human being than I am, because it was done with school. So she didn't tell me officially. What she just did to me was that David followed me to the motion ground where we used to snap picture. I snapped some birthday picture. Let me go and get them. So we went to get the pictures together, and I saw the pictures. It was her and the guy in very, very interesting postures. So I had to know, without anybody telling me, that you are not qualified for this game because the guy is way ahead of me. Now that hit me strongly. So as it hit me, I sat under a tree in my school. We have a lecture called MKO lecture hall, and there was a tree beside. So I sat there, my mind running all manner of thought. I was just, this guy that me have been planning. And right there, I heard a voice the way God had not spoken to me before that time. God speaks to me internally, I hear deep within myself. But that day it was like I was hearing God's voice externally. And I can't forget what he said. Have I ever told you she's the one? Have I ever? In fact, as I heard the voice, it was reverberating to the point that I couldn't sit down. I was sitting with her. We're together sitting down. I just stood up. See, today she cannot understand why I stood up. I just stood up from her side. I was just walking in the school because I was still hearing it in my ears. Have I ever told you she's the one? Why was I able to hear at that time? Was because I had started developing a strong spirit man. I had become more conscious and aware of my spirituality than any other aspect of my life. So when you do the spirit check first, there is every tendency that every other thing will fall in place. Check with your spirit. There are many people that have come into my space that I like them. They are very nice persons. They are ministry inclined, very, very good looking, good character, and everything was okay. And they are around me. And as I just want to begin to think in their direction and begin to probably send some signals, somehow I will just feel more like a wall separating me from them, and that push will just die a natural death. And that's over. That is over. I have tested it not just with the opposite sex, but with how I make friends. When I was in school, my friends would come around, oh, David, there is this guy, he's doing this. And as I want to jump at that connection, I just feel a restraint. I can't explain what I don't like about it. I like everything about it. I like the guy, but I don't just feel like there is a restraint. And it won't take 3 weeks. They will start telling me story. David, that guy is a fraud. Though. You won't believe. I didn't know he was a fraud, but my spirit did not just agree. Even unbelievers know what I'm saying. That is why they will carry 3 names to one Baba and say, out of these 3, because they know. Help me check through the eyes of the spirit. And if they use demonic eye to check for you, you know what you're going to come out. So that's why going to those fetish people to help you check between Antikan, Anyekan, and Anyena may not really work. Many people also go to pastors with 3 names. Let me pray. What are they looking for? They want to check spiritually. Is this the way to go? Build a strong spirit. Genesis chapter 24 and verse 26. We've been looking at this example of Eliezer getting a wife for Isaac, which is Rebekah. So remember that last week we said the foundation was that start spiritually, commit to God, position spiritually. So this guy had been praying. Abraham prayed for him. He also prayed to pick the right person. When all that he prayed for looked as if they were synchronized, he got there, he said, whoever will give me water to drink, I will ask the person for water. The person will give me water. But by the person's own voluntary will, he will also give water to my camels. She will give water to my camels. And it happened so. When he got there, the lady came, gave water to him, and by her own volition said, I will give water to your camel. And I was like, wow, what a coincidence. And somebody will have just stayed there and draw the conclusion. Oh, the girl just entered. Wow. Love at first sight. Wow. Everything just pam, pam, pam. The only man in the Bible, God showed me. The only man in the Bible who married because of love at first sight suffered in marriage. Jacob. The only man in the Bible. Who married by love at first sight suffered in marriage. First of all, they gave him the wrong woman. Secondly, he suffered to marry that one. Thirdly, that woman died early. The only man who just saw, what is the name? Rachel, I said, oh my God, child. Butterfly, guru, 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 guru. She died early. She died at childbirth. She didn't get to Bethlehem. She died before they reached Bethlehem. So all of those love died. He had to endure with Leah, who he did not love. And he had to be there. So this guy, having prayed and everything had aligned, give me verse 26. Verse 26 quickly. I need to run. Okay, let me open my Bible. Verse 26, the Bible said there that, and the man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord. When he had seen that, the man bowed his head and did what? Worship the Lord. What will the worship do to him? The worship at that point will create an atmosphere for him to be spirit conscious and to be able to check with the spirit. What is God telling me? And let me tell you this, especially young ladies. One of the things that God has given you naturally is a strong intuition. But many of you have been blinded by what I will eat, what I will wear, what I will drive. And when your intuition is speaking to you, your poverty is also staring at you. So you are choosing for money. You are making the choice by who will take care of me. But your intuition, your spirit consciousness is whispering to you within you, don't go, don't answer. But you look, the fact that the guy is going to relocate to London and you will soon become a Londoner, snapping pictures in London and sending it online, oppressing those village people that said you would never marry. You look at him and he fits into the fantasy that you have created about the right guy. And where did those fantasies come from? It came from the mills and booms, the magazines we were reading while growing up, all those romantic novels, all those Z World, all those Instagram baddies that have said, and those were the things. And when you just see, oh, before the guy even proposed, you have said yes. You are just waiting for the guy to come say, he's my crush. I'm crushing on him. So before you allow your emotion to be on the loose, check with your spirit. Check with your spirit. This guy bowed and prayed. When Adam saw Eve, the first thing he acknowledged was that this is the bone of my bone. He acknowledged the part that God took. And the part that God took is the spiritual part. He said, this is the bone of my bone. Then he looked, oh, flesh of my flesh. But what did God take? Bone. This is the part that is spiritual. When you get it that way, I can tell you, most likely, everything will fall in place. I shared a testimony with them on Thursday that when God made me know that this person I was going to marry, I am AS, and all my life I've been very, very careful not to, even if I don't pray about it, the first thing I want to know is your genotype. So I don't want to fall in love and fall out and fall in and fall out because it's AS. And I'm going to get there today. So when we get going, I said, oh, it's you? And she said, yes. So one of the days, she woke up in the morning and had a dream. She knew she was AA all her life. Then she had a dream. And in that dream, they went to do things and they said, she's AA, so therefore you cannot marry him. So when she woke up from that dream, she was afraid. How will I be here? So she ran to a clinic to do the test. So when she called me in the evening, I said, why did you go and waste your money? Because I never asked her really what her genotype was. So she asked me, why did I not ask her whether she is AS? I said, I know that I know she cannot be AS. She can be other things. But I know if I am AS, you can never be. Because the same God who brought it my way will have cleared all the other things. He will go ahead of you to make the crooked way straight. He will go ahead of you. I thought that there is no way on earth you could have been heirs. Never. Because I know my parents will not even support it. So We can't be having faith for what faith cannot do at that point in time. Say, lie, I know. So get it first. Spirit authentication. And one way that will help you is Psalm 37 verse 5. Psalm 37 verse 5. There were certain things I said those days. And one of the things I said is that I know I will not miss it maritally. I'm going to marry the right person. Why? Number one, I will follow divine instruction. Number two, I will follow divine counsel. Number three, I know God loves me so much that He cannot watch me enter into trouble. Those three things were the foundation of my belief. Now, coupled with this, commit thy ways unto the Lord, trust also in Him, and you shall what? Bring it to pass. This is how Pastor David Fadeyi put it. Anybody that asks you out, whether the person is your spec or not, at least pray about it. At least do what? Pray about it. When the impression came into my own heart that this person I should marry, if I want to subject it to my own understanding, I would not say yes. I will not move in that direction because I said I don't want to marry somebody from Akwa Ibom. And she's from Akwa Ibom in capital letters. It's not as if she's a half caste, full-blooded. But she was born inside Akwa Ibom. She was born in one village like that. Born inside here. So it's not as if, even though she had grown up in Lagos, but she was born here, father from here. And I've said I would not. But as it came into my spirit, as it came into my heart that this is your wife, on a Saturday, the Monday after it, I started a 3 days fasting and prayer. 3 days praying. God, before I start throwing my love on the line, before I start calling, so how are you? Have you eaten? What do you eat? Before I don't have energy for all, I cannot commit that for long. Then I get to the end of the road, it's not working. God, you know me. You know me. I don't have that strength. Let us know now. Are we going this way or not? And Bible says God's ears are not deaf. Neither is He having mouth problem that He cannot communicate. If you really pray well, it doesn't take long for God to answer. And if it is taking long, don't make a move. If God is saying nothing, do nothing. Just stay in one place. In military, they call it mark time. You are not idle, but you are what? You are marking time. As long as God did not say Pim, don't go. On Wednesday, I followed chaplain for a meeting. Somebody was inaugurating his church, so I followed him that day for the meeting. And while we were there, I have not told chaplain what was my headache. I was going to pray for myself. I have not told him anything. And the thing, he was preaching for the person who started the church. And all he was saying was that it's time. Now is the time. God's time. Now is the time. Time is now. Now is the time. I say, oh God, calm down. Because the previous night, the word that God put in my spirit was that I make all things beautiful in my time. And I go there, they were just shouting, time, it's time, it's time. So I came back home before we went back for midweek service that Wednesday. I said, it's time thing. As I was saying that, a thought came into my mind. I have never thought like that before. What is even the meaning of our name? I have always known in Yobon to be my chaplain's name. I have never known the meaning, that the meaning is God's time. So that day, I said, Kai, I need to find out the meaning of this name. Out of all this, my people, who will I call that will not be suspecting? So I had to call somebody who does not even know that I know her. I said, please, in your boy in Akwa, but what does it mean? He said, it's God's time. I said, oh, wow. Now, it makes sense, man. On a Wednesday, it was after that Wednesday that I now increased my energy of call. And I started calling in the morning, have you woken up? Call in the afternoon, are you still alive? Call in the night, how are you tonight? I started calling him. For those days, I did not have money those days. And anytime I look back, I used to ask God, where did I have money for those calls? Because I made calls. Jesus Christ. I called because she already left to you at the time I knew I was going to marry her. And I needed to make the communication to cater for lack of seeing ourselves. Call like this. I will use my airtime. I will send that airtime. She will use the airtime to call me. I will replace it back. I will call again. But because she was supposed to be the one, God supplied all my needs. I had the money to make the calls. Glory to Jesus. Number two, I dwelt more on this spirit check because you need to get it done. Even believers know they need to go and do consultation. But you just think that once he has the figure, either bank figure or body figure, once he has the figure, he's earning in 6 digits. Your head, he said he's working immobile. Say, wow. And he's planning to relocate to Canada. And you have always dreamt to be abroad. Now, let me say this quickly. Thank God that I remember. Some of you, God has given you revelations of the typology. I chose that word. The typology of who you will marry. But the problem I have with many of us is not a revelation, but interpretation. So you saw yourself in that revelation. You were holding hand with somebody, and he's a pastor. So you are using that to screen everybody that is coming your way. Because you feel that God said you will marry what? A pastor. No problem. That's why I said for every, but I don't care the dream you have had. And I really don't bloody care the prophecy they gave you. Because many people have married by prophecy and separated by fighting. Yes. You marry by prophecy, prophet prophesy them together. Hear me and hear me well. Whatever prophecy they prophesy to you, especially when it has to do with marriage, doubt it first. And pray about it until your spirit agrees. Don't let them prophesy you into doom. Hello? So it's possible that God has shown you that this person will be a pastor. But what you did not know is that you will not meet the person as a pastor. Because it is 3 years into marriage that God will call him. But you are waiting to see a suit man. You are trying to look for a Pastor David first. So when the person comes, you look, are you a pastor? No, it's not you. Next, are you a pastor? No, it's not you. My friend, ask God again. This is Sikam. God, what are you saying? Pray over that one first. For everything, is it not God who told Abraham, go and kill your son? Is it not the same God who told him, don't kill again? So for every step, verify in prayers. God, see this one that came on yesterday, you gave me a revelation. This one, does it match? God is a loving father. He will bring clarity. He will bring clarity. He's not the author of confusion. He will let you know. But you must have started developing a strong spirit. That's what the Bible says. Let those who have ears hear. Which means let those who are sensitive pick signals in the realm of the spirit. Many of you, the only time you want to start exercising your how to hear God is that point. You have never heard God on, God, which suit should I wear today? Let him talk to you. Some days I have a ministration to prepare, to preach. And as I'm praying for that ministration, I see myself wearing a particular cloth to preach that message. So I've been testing it over time. Number two, you must do mindset or what I call perspective authentication. Genesis chapter 28 from verse 1. You see me that is talking slow, but the time is running fast. Or I'm spending too much time on one issue. Okay, let's not do 28 first. Okay, we can still do 28. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him, and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Verse 2. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. Go to Genesis 24. Verse 3. This is Abraham speaking to Eliezer. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites. Even though this is where we dwell, this looks like our common place. This is like an environment we live. But we are not going to take from these people. Yes, verse 4. Thou shalt go to where? My country. Now, what is the essence? What is the spiritual essence of that? Or what are we taking from that? My country talks about the people that are like me. The people that their way of life is similar to us. The people of the same culture and the same perspective to us. Go to that place of my kindred. The people that we are of the same kind. The people who share the same beliefs with us. The people who have the same orientation about life. The people who have the same value system with us. So you must do what I call the mindset of perspective authentication. The guy is nice guy, but does this thing align? We are even both Christians. But he believes that if you don't go to church on Saturday, you are not a Christian. Oh, he's this, but this is his belief about marriage. As a guy, he believes that men are naturally promiscuous. But you believe a man should be faithful. He believes that monogamy is a Western culture that they imposed on us. You believe that God said one man, one woman. If you jam yourself, third year, you marry the second one. Fourth year, you marry another one. There's one man like that in the West. He married the first wife, I think he divorced, then got a position, married the second one, and maybe that one was trying to form, I'm the only one. Within 6 months, he married 6 to join. That's it. Is it that when you people have disagreements, the way you will solve it is to marry another woman? Because his friend will tell him that, see, the way to deal with the woman, bring another woman. The two of them will leave, they will not be fighting themselves. So you will not be the fight. You will not be at the center of their war. You will not be fighting. What is the perspective of that person towards life? It takes us back to the beginning when we say, don't be unequally yoked with who? An unbeliever. Do we align in thinking, belief system? You are a godly person, you know we should serve the Lord. You hold the scripture that says, do not forsake the assemblies of believers. You hold this seriously. You don't miss midweek service, you don't miss Sunday, but he is the one. He only goes to church sparingly. He said, see, I'm a spiritual person. You don't have to be in church to be spiritual. You can be on your own and have fellowship with God. It's not that he has problem. But the two of you coming together will be a problem. Him, he just take God lightly. You take God seriously. Somebody will not say, Pastor, but he used to say opposite attracts. Can I shock you? My pastor said it this way. Opposite attracts to attack later. That same thing I say, okay, because me, I'm highly spiritual. I can just deal with somebody that is not so spiritual. His lack of spirituality will soon be annoying you. It won't take long. Be like, how can somebody? I had a dream. You woke up from bad dream. You scream. You woke up. You say, what happened? You say, I had a dream. Yes. He just turned the other side and slept. And you're expecting him to rise up. I say, he just sleep off. Say, I'm going to work tomorrow. I cannot. You can pray. If when you pray to a point, say you are disturbing his sleep. May you not be shocked. So verify now. Go to where I came from. It does not mean you should marry Igbo because you are Igbo. That's not what that is saying. You may meet an Igbo man who thinks awkwardly from your own way of thinking. And even when that person thinks differently, is it a different perspective that can be accommodated in your own perspective? You check it out. You verify. You go through all those things. You ask questions. That is why the things we do before we get to the point of saying yes is questioning, observing, asking the right questions to find out some of these things. Mindset and perspective authentication. Number 3, which is very, very crucial for me this morning, is what I call community authentication, which means you have to subject that choice to the unbiased community that you belong to. And I will explain. Well, let me show you from the scripture. Genesis chapter 24 that we are reading. Go to verse 28. So, as soon as Eliezer had a good chat with Rebecca, and the discussion was already getting sweet, the next thing was not that Rebecca packed to the guy's house. The next thing was not that Rebecca started telling everybody, see my boyfriend, see my boyfriend. No. The first thing Rebecca did was that she ran back to go and tell her family people. I met a guy, this is the thing, this is the thing, this is the thing. Now, your own might not be, first of all, to go back to your family, because your father and mother may be a biased personality. So their judgment may be a wrong judgment. Yes. I know many fathers, many that have told their daughter, we are poor, marry a wealthy man. So have you seen the lens to which they are going to judge whoever you bring? They are going to judge you from the lens of their poverty. So they may not be the right community. But what I'm saying, that's why last week's message was a foundation for this. Last week's message, I said, one of the things to position yourself is to be in the right company, first of all. So that when you are gisting them about the guy, they will look at you and say, me, I'm having a second thought. Oh. These people that are having a second thought, not because they are jealous or they want to snatch him away from you. So if all your own friends are people that have the capacity of snatching him away from you, you are in the wrong company. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. Because when you tell her now, she's the one that told you, I don't think that guy is nice. Then the next week you see their wedding card. You are not in the right company. First, you are the first problem. It's not them. So when I found out that this is going to be my wife, I took her to my company. And where is my company? The people that raised me spiritually, my spiritual father, the school where I schooled. So I traveled with her to Bomosho. I went to see my father in the Lord. And this is how I went to see him. I went to see him with my eyes open. That if while I present her to him, and the man is looking somehow, and his countenance is not excited, I will give it a second thought. And I mean it. Because this is a man that has helped raise me. This is a man who had been praying for me. This is an unbiased judgment. He does not believe in wearing trousers. But that is not what he's going to use to judge my wife, because I know. You know that some people, that's what they will use to judge you. He's not wearing stuff. I even thank God for my parents. Because my dad and my parents do not believe in wearing earring, making hair, wearing trousers and the rest. So the day my wife came, she wore a earring and made her hair like she would make it, even though she didn't wear trousers. My father does not really see so well. So my father and I said, let's go out. So my father came out to see her in the broad daylight, and it was okay. Even though he saw her with earring, he didn't have a problem with it. That is an unbiased what? Judgment. So I took her there, and I was watching my father in the Lord. And the man was just full of high spirit. He was so excited. So excited to the fact that me, that I have lived in his house for 3 months, I have not entered his room. My wife was the first to enter the room. So my wife became the wife's PA that day. Go, 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 go. Carry my bag. That following that day. That's the number one person. Second person, Sister Victoria. She's somebody that was like my mentor. She's a little older than me. So we are poor, like, but she's older. She was a lecturer when we were students. Every decision I made, we were praying together for her to marry. We have prayed certain prayers together. So I went to her house, took her there. I was watching for her countenance. I wasn't just waiting for them to just be excited. I want a true test. And when I went and she said, David, God has finally answered your prayer. Oh, okay. Third person. They were three. I went to Pastor David. Say, David, God has finally. No, this is God. This is just the hand of God. So you can see the hand of God in it too. All right. Let me show you. It's not only you that must see it as right. It's not, if you are the only one that it is right in your eyes, something wrong with your eyes. You're already biased. Go to verse 50 of that same scripture. So when they went to meet Laban and Bethuel answered and said, this thing, because the man went to see the father-in-law and he narrated all how they met, and when the man heard it, the man said, no. This thing proceeded from the Lord. Even we cannot interfere with it. So it's not only you to see it as right. Everybody around you is questioning the girl. This girl you want to marry, but you are blind. So nobody should talk to me. This is the person that I want to marry. Yeah, now, at least consider what they are saying. Go and pray about it. I'm not saying you should change your mind. No. The community is not supposed to make you change your mind. The community is to help you authenticate what is in your mind. So it's going to give you a robust perspective. You may not have been looking at it from a side, and you are only focused. That's why they say love is blind. Because you are narrow-minded. Present it to them. Let me show you Ruth's own. Ruth chapter 2, 18 to 19. Ruth chapter 2, 18 to 19. Quickly. And so when Ruth went to work in the field that day, he met Boaz. She met Boaz. And Boaz, big man. So they gave her stuff. They gave her things, You just met the guy. The guy just bought you. You met the guy in the supermarket. The guy bought you all the things you need for a week. And you just came back home. Eating it by yourself. Already falling in love by yourself. And she took it up and went to the city. And her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned. And she brought forth and gave it to her that she had reserved after she was done. Verse 19. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where have you gleaned this? And where have you brought this from? And she showed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought and said, the man's name with whom I wrought this day is Boaz. Next word. Verse 20. And Naomi said unto her, daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who had not left of his kindness to living and dead. And Naomi said unto her, that man is our family member. So she went back, because in the land of Bethlehem, the only person, the only authority figure that Ruth asked was Naomi. There is no other place she would have gone to ask. I see this man, what do you think about it? The only person she had was Naomi. So she took it there. Now when he got to the issue of Boaz, even Boaz, with all the money he had, is the owner of the estate. He did not still make decision by himself. Ruth chapter 3. Just go to Ruth chapter 4. Ruth chapter 4 verse 1. Ruth 4:1. And Naomi then, when Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, oh, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down, verse 2. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. 10 mature men. As I had a glimpse of I was going to marry my wife, and this is going to be my wife, on a Saturday. Monday morning, I already told Chaplain's wife. Monday morning, I did not say, Mama, there is one girl that is at our church. I met her on Saturday, And she has not left my mind. I've just been thinking about her. Mama, before your son fall in love into a gutter, start praying now. That's what I told her. Before love will carry somebody's brain away, start praying now. I've told you now. Mama, pray, pray. Monday. I did not allow my brain to be clouded, and I'm already fantasizing. Before I now wake up one day and say, that's what happened to many of you. You were dating the person for 3 years, 2 years. It is on the third year, you just became aware of certain things. Then you ended. You now say, oh, what a heartbreak. It may be the guy that is eyes open first. Whoever eyes open first, break up first. That's why there are a lot of break fast. Because many of you dated who you should never date in life. You should not even be there. When you were carried away without any verification. So go and confirm with your community. That's why I used to scream at many of you in church. Imagine that you have been in this church for 3-4 years. The only thing I heard about your marriage is your wedding card. I just came to see cards. The pastor, I'm getting married. When? Next week. Next week. Who did you cross-check it with? The guy is a nice guy. I will wear my suit and come and sit down. If I have time. But I told them, you do like that, church will not come to your wedding as church. Yeah, because you didn't honor us. Find even your prayer partners, they did not know. Because you did not even have a good association in the first place. Your fellow girls, none of them can you share the guy with. How can that be where you belong? So if you don't belong right, you are likely going to choose wrong. Very likely. Because some of them, when you even go and tell some of your girlfriend, what they are going to be using to screen for you, say, where is he working? How much is he here? Where is he from? Is he from a wealthy family? Which is concern you are want to start a wealthy family. I don't care where family is coming from. We are starting a what? A wealthy family. So community. The fourth one is very close to that, which I call accountability authentication. This guy, this lady, are they submitted to any authority at all? Or they are the Alpha and Omega of their life? He even told you not to tell anybody. Listen to me. No man that has not married you has the right to tell you not to tell anybody. Tell him, I will tell so and so, or else me and you will not be. They use that to corner you into a trap. So this relationship is very confidential. Just between me and you. Don't tell anybody else. He impregnates you, you abort it. Don't tell anybody. It's between me and you. Love is for two people. 2 is a company. 3 is, see, guys have quotable codes. When they want to put you in trouble, their mouth will be sweet. They will go and gather quotable code for you. Imitation is limitation. What you share with others, you share with others. Others share. So this lady, does she have anybody in her life that can call her to order in case there is a problem? This guy in question, does he have anybody that he respects? If they don't have, run. It doesn't matter if God told you. It doesn't matter if your spirit said yes. That is a reason to be doubtful. That is a reason to be afraid. See, don't let anybody deceive you of the issue of no third party in marriage. I'm your pastor. Every marriage needs an agreed third party. But the third party cannot be your family member. But the two of us must agree. Who is the third party? Who is that person that we can report ourselves to? Many marriages have been saved by third party. Somebody stepped in. So anybody that's telling you not third party is a lie, that truth does not hold water. So I carried my wife to go and meet Dr. Naomi. I said, you see this man, if he calls me as I'm standing in front of you preaching now and said, David, see me in the promotion tomorrow, I'm off. The man knows. I know my wife knows. If he calls me tomorrow morning, I said, David, because I submit. It's not that he's lording himself over me. I have submitted to him. There is no decision that is a destiny decision that I made without him. Bishop David, Pastor Kojayo, the very big man of God, many of you know platform covenant and all those things. When he wanted to marry, because he married quite late, he married in his late 40s, he carried his wife to Bishop Oyedepo. Bishop Oyedepo is a spiritual father. And you know what he told us? He said, I was watching to see his countenance. If he had acted somehow, I would have gone for a rethink. So his wife knows, in case this my man is behaving somehow tomorrow, there is somebody I can report him to. There is, if me and my wife now, I misbehave and I say, I will not talk to you, and I go and lock myself in one room, I'm not talking to you, and I look at my phone, and I see, incoming call, Dr. Naomi. I know that the battle is over. I know. There is nothing. I know that. Why did you call him now? That's the feeling. Oh. And I cannot see his call and ignore. It's not possible. I say, Daddy. Yes, sir. But I don't like what he did. Go to our room now. I'm going there. He's not in my house, but he's giving me instruction. That is the only, especially for ladies, that's the only safe place you can be. That the man is submitted to an authority. You know why? He is expected by God to be your head. If he does not have another head, the day his head is not correct, all of you will enter the gutter. And there are few days that our heads are not correct. I can tell you the truth. We are not almighty. We are not all wise. We are not all knowing. There are some days our head will do brim, brim. If those days that our head does brim, brim, nobody can call us to order. We will drive the whole family into a dungeon. But if my head's packed in the wrong way, my wife look and say, she knows she cannot order me out of it. She will carry her phone. Sir, I don't know what's wrong with my husband. I just observed that. She said, don't worry. The next call I'm seeing is Dr. Nowu. Sister Victoria, I will just see Sister Victoria and say, everything that is wrong with my head will be reset in 5 minutes. If I have told myself I cannot apologize to a woman, when they call me to apologize, I'm going to apologize and tell them the evidence that I apologize. Who is that person? That's why you see people now, they are loafing around. They are not planted anywhere. Ruth had Naomi to go to. Laban had 10 elders to go to. You don't have anybody. You are even in a church. You are just in a church. You don't have a pastor. Because I'm not your pastor. I'm only teaching you the word. Pastor is a shepherd. And the shepherd knows his sheep. Today you are in Victory Chapel because I want to preach on relationship. Next week you are in Celebration Church. The next Sunday you are in Mountain of Fire because you just had a bad dream. The next one you are in Chosen because you want miracle. Next week you are in Redeem. You are not seated in one place. Nobody can tell me what to do. Nobody can tell me. There's no problem with you. That don't marry them. Nobody can tell me what to do. Avoid those people in life. They are on the path of destruction. They even said, if you leave a man to himself, he will destroy himself. Everybody needs to have restraint. And you need to set up by yourself. Nobody can call you to order. Nobody. If you wake up tomorrow and you say, we are leaving, we are packing from Abuja, we are relocating to the village, you carry all the family. Even if it's a wrong move, there is nobody that your wife can even call and say, talk to my husband. Let us not go to the village. There is nobody like that. As a lady, nobody. My guest got married. I said, okay, which pastor did you go and submit? When this guy came to meet you and want to marry, who did you go and tell it to? Nobody. Nobody. If you go and read the book of Songs of Solomon and the rest, the ideal woman is not found on the street. It's found in the house. Because For you, that's why even in Akwa Ibom, they put it here. They said knocking of door because you're supposed to be inside the door. The door means that there is a restraint put in your life. There is an authority that is guarding you. So you knock on the door. And when you knock the door, in what they call knocking of door, who opens? The girl? No. The authority. The father comes out. I say, okay, what do you want? When I went for introduction, my wife was in the room. The family people were the one I saw first. It was when we had finished talking, I said, okay, do you even know her when you see her? Yes, okay, bring her out. Before of all brought one girl, no, it's not the one. Bring it. That's how it is done. Even culture knows it. But you are on the street with no cover, no authority. You are dangerous. You are what? Dangerous. If it's a he is risky. If it's a guy, if it's a girl, that's a threat. Avoid them. Avoid them. The girl just wake up one morning because it's a certain thing. I'm going back. I'm going back. And when she carried her bag and said she's going back, you don't have anybody in her life to call that can call her to order. My brother, you will suffer.
Victory Chapel, the church on campus.